Welcome to Money Making Sense, the show that talks about all things money. We are still doing the 10 tax tips series. And joining me today is Derek Weil. You are with WSRP.
That's right.
So welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Oh, and you're a tax manager. That means you're managing all my taxes, right?
Well, if you were one of our clients, that's right. Yeah, I would be we work with the clients directly as managers, and we kind of coordinate the staff at the firm between the partners and tax preparation, do some quality control, review returns, that sort of thing.
Oh, you're sort of behind the scenes guy.
That's right.
That's the one we have to worry about.
It's true. I can cause trouble, but I try not to.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're actually here talking about health insurance and how that affects our taxes. Now, for the last 8 years, anybody who didn't have health insurance, they had to pay a pretty hefty penalty that showed up on their taxes when they filed that every year. So what's new this year?
Well, the big change, of course, is that the individual mandate, the penalty for not carrying health insurance, is gone for 2019. So no longer are individuals required to have the minimum health insurance that has been the case for several years in the past.
Right.
That's new for 2019. Big change, obviously.
Yeah. So if through all of 2018 or even a portion of 2018, you didn't have health insurance, when you filed your taxes last year, April of 2019, you would still have to pay a penalty.
That's right.
But for the entire year of 2019, you didn't have it, ooh, who cares?
Exactly right.
Except for your pocketbook if you wind up sick and in the hospital.
That's the problem. There's certainly downsides to not having health insurance, but at least the federal government isn't requiring you to anymore. Now, something to be aware of for business owners, especially small business owners, is that the mandate on companies to provide health insurance is still in place.
Oh.
So certain businesses, if they have enough full-time employees, are required to provide that benefit to their full-time workers.
Right, and I think that's 50 or more employees.
That's correct.
You have to have 50 or more before, and if you do have 50 or more full-time employees, you better be given that insurance.
That's true, yes.
Okay, so what happens if I work at one of those companies and we have 75 full-time employees and my employer says, oh, I can't help you, I can't provide that for you? What happens?
It's complicated, that's for sure. I mean, it's difficult because as an employee, you don't necessarily want to cause trouble with your company or your boss, but they are supposed to require it. You certainly could bring it up with HR. A company that size is typically going to have HR or someone there. You can try to find more information on healthcare.gov. You can talk to a CPA and figure out what the best avenue is, but it's complicated, to say the least, and it's not an easy fix as an employee to force your employer to offer benefits, and we don't want people to get in trouble.
So I didn't have any insurance in 2019, and I'm really happy I don't have to pay the penalty when I file my taxes this year. But I did have some medical problems, and I incurred expenses. Is there something I can do about that when I do file my taxes?
Absolutely. If your medical expenses are high enough, you can claim them as an itemized deduction. Now, under the current law, the standard deduction for most folks for a married couple would be $24,400 and $12,200 for single filers. And the medical expenses also have to be higher than 7.5% of your income. Once you get to a lot of medical expenses, you can start talking about deducting them. And obviously, you'd want to consult a CPA if you think you're getting close.
Right. So if I earned, I know this is low, but I have to do simple math.
Sure.
So if I earn $10,000 for the entire year, my medical expenses have to be greater than $750 before I can start getting the benefit.
That's exactly right. Yeah, the first $750 would not be deductible. Once you get past that amount, then it starts counting.
Okay.
Right.
But let's say my total medical expenses were $4,000. If I combine that $4,000 medical deduction with all of my other itemized deductions, and it is not more than $12,200, there's no point in me itemizing. I just take the standard deduction.
That's right. Yeah, in that case, the standard deduction being higher, you'd be better off doing that. But medical expenses combined with things like your property taxes, home mortgage, interest, charitable donations, still an option if it's above that standard deduction amount.
Okay. What else do I need to know about health insurance and how it's going to affect my taxes? Maybe not just even filing taxes. What about year-round? Are there things I can do to help offset my tax expenses?
Gosh, it can be really complicated, that's for sure. And something that you want to keep an eye on. We have a lot of clients who are self-employed, and if they're providing their own health insurance as a self-employed person, we have a way to deduct that. If someone's an employee, typically we can counsel them throughout the year in terms of what's the best strategies are, but it's always a good idea to discuss it with your tax advisor proactively throughout the year. There aren't, again, for individual filers, given that the mandate is gone, a lot of the complexity has disappeared, but it still never hurts to have that conversation.
Oh yeah, especially if you have ongoing medical problems and
Exactly.
and you were dealing with the ACA before 2019, and now it's all changed, and you're not sure what avenue you're supposed to do or take.
That's right.
Okay.
Yes.
Is there anything else that we need to know about with health insurance and our taxes?
I think for most people, that's the gist of it for this year. I mean, in terms of, again, typical individual tax filer, single, married. This year, at least if you don't have health insurance, you shouldn't get penalized. And that's good news for most taxpayers.
Definitely. I've been in that situation years
Right.
ago. All right. Derek Weil, you were WSRP. And if I'm going to have to come to you maybe about my medical problems that I had last year. Other than that, please go to uacpa.org to find the CPA that's right for you.
Thanks for being a Money Making Sense listener. Follow your common sense onto social media. Money Making Sense on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.